like when we were there and we were speaking of them and everyone was sharing their stories, it was it was like there was a presence there, and I think everyone felt it because everybody got really emotional, and yeah, including myself. So if you see pictures and I'm not smiling, it was like I was being serious because of um, the seriousness of the business that we were there for our relatives, and I didn't want to be smiling and laughing around because it's a solemn thing, and but I was really glad to be there though. I was truly glad to be there and able to experience that, and I'm glad I'm able to share it with you all too. And like I told Rami, or I don't know if I shared it on the organizers WhatsApp messenger, but I feel like, having our experiences with the Zen Peacemakers, I feel like it's it's inspired us to have the courage to be present to change, have that presence of mind to want to be heard, to share our stories, because we know there's others all over the world that are doing that too. And we have a story to tell. And we were glad that we had the courage to go and tell our stories to people that would listen and that are trying to help us with our relatives. And I know one of the speakers said that this would be a catalyst for us to start with our healing too, because I think when trauma is acknowledged, first step to being like validated, and it's really important to be validated when you have experienced the trauma. So I think that's what happened, and it was really powerful here on that day. I'm hopeful that it is a catalyst for us to be healing as Wounded Knee descendants, survivor descendants. But that was my experience. I hope I didn't take too long.
No, Renee, I feel honored and appreciating so much your sharing with us your process and your experience and allowing me and all of us to witness that. I'm also really appreciating to just hear this in the beginning of our call, and some people have met you last year or the previous years, and some people here are really joining us for the first time, and it's really wonderful just to really just plunge into what it's all about. Mm-hmm. So really, I have a feeling that Violet, are you there? Are you on the phone?
I'm here.
Okay, wonderful. So, I wonder, even before we begin any further, I wonder if, Violet, if you'd like to offer some prayer or some words to just bring us even deeper into connection.
Okay. Okay. I have a bit of a sore throat, but I'm going to go ahead and offer a prayer for our meeting today. I'm going to say it in Lakota, and I'll say it in English. Kaya tungashila wakantanka. Kati topa na makati domya. Dakwa kanyu kampi yung ka En particular, lecture a Kemnicha Piukan, el Hoye Yampicte, Extremitasha, Hoye Yampicte Yunkan, Nataku Chaun walk in the walk, Omnichekile, Wogaka Pictina Etja, was ugly Yampie, when children Unkupie, he had Santa Wastia, Takiha, English Yampicte. Grandfather, Great Spirit, to the four directions, the entire universe. We are sending our voices to you today in prayer, as well as in our Ikshirichasha way of meeting. Make us strong, help us think, and help us to make our meeting good meeting today. Particularly
Thank you, Violet.
Don't forget, I'm really hard of hearing.
Yes. Thank you so much, Violet. Thank you.
Yes.
So just a few words just in terms of the call. If you notice, I muted everyone, but I'll keep Renee, Eve, Violet, and myself unmuted. I invite the four of us just in terms of leading the meeting today. And if any time you feel you want to contribute or jump in, please, Eve, Violet, Renee, please do that. If you want to speak during the call, you can just raise your hand and call on you. At some point, I see that we have some people on phones, and I'll unmute you so you can just jump in if needed. It's just we have a lot of people, and it would be great to be able to manage it that way. So thank you for giving me the permission to do that. Another thing is that some people couldn't come. And some people wished they've been here, so I started recording the call a couple of minutes ago, and I hope that's okay with you. I hope that it still contributes to a sense of confidentiality or safety in terms of what you're sharing. I'm not going to share it with anybody else beyond the participants, so this is not going to be communicated outwards, so it's just for us. We've heard a bit from Renee and we heard a bit from Violet. I've been speaking a bit. I wonder if we can just do a quick round and just say your name, where you're calling from a bit, and maybe what brought you just for today's call. And I would love to start with Eve, actually, as one of our co-leaders and one of the organizers. And if you'd like also to say a few words for opening. Thank you.
So my name is Eve Marco. I'm sitting here in a beautiful early afternoon in Massachusetts. So I am a staff member for this retreat for a number of years now. And I'm deeply moved by the relationships we've built. I'm really very moved to hear Renee talk about how some of our work together may have helped the descendants of the of the survivors of Wounded Knee tell their stories more publicly and reach out and really come out onto a more public stage, which I think we all need it. So I hear you say how wonderful it is for your group, Renee, but I think the whole world needs these kind of stories and to come to work with them and encounter them and see what we can do together. And in many ways, that is the spirit of the retreat. So that's why I'm here. And I don't know if everybody understood when Renee spoke about that they just finished school. This was the school, she and Manny just began an immersion school in Lakota, which is a huge and wonderful step. So I just wanted to add that so that everybody's in the same loop.
Great, thank you, Eve. And we'll return to you later on. Catherine Weiss. Please.
Yes, I'm deeply moved. I watched you all in Washington, and really only can second that the spirits were in the room. I was the first time on the Plunge last year and made myself a pledge to come every year, and I'm really looking forward meeting everyone, new and old connections. Be blessed.
Thank you. Thank you. Would you like to say a word?
Yes. This will be my first retreat here. I want to listen and hear the stories and learn from them. And I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you, Enkyo. I think I detected a sense of self-humility in Enkyo's introduction. I would just say that Enkyo is a dear, well, she's one of the co-founding teachers of the Zen Peacemaker order. So she has a lot of not just felt experience, both in practice, but leading communities. She's based here in New York City, and it's a great privilege to have Enkyo join us. And it's, I appreciate your presence and the gravity that you bring with you. I look forward to share this time today. Thank you. Joshin, please.
Hi, everyone. I feel very, really moved by Renee's telling of what happened in Washington. And as Eve said, how all of our work together helps us in all of our work. And from my experience last year at the Plunge, has been with me all year. And I just can't wait to be back in all your physical presence again. And so I'm very happy to see everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshin. Linda?
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Renee, for sharing that. And so lovely to see you again. I can't wait to be giving you a hug. So, yes, every year every plunge that I go on, I feel my heart open a little bit more. It feels like it can't possibly open more, but it does keep getting wider and deeper and freer as well. And that to me is just an incredible gift that I want to pass on. And so
We can't hear you, Linda. Just the last piece broke. No, it's not coming through. Sorry.
did you hear any of
Okay, now we can hear you. Yeah.
I just was saying that each one of these plunges that I go with both the Native American group and also in Auschwitz this year, I have ever feeling.
Linda, I wonder if you're holding it with your hand and you're covering the microphone.
I don't know. How about
yes?
this?
Yeah, there you go.
How's that? No?
Yes, yes.
Can you hear me?
Good.
Now my words are totally rehearsed. I would like to just say that it's with every one of these plunges and every experience that I have in bearing witness in this way, my heart opens more and more. I can't believe that it can break even wider, but that it does. But it is also an experience of deeper freedom, and that's so beautiful. I want to keep passing that on, and this is my training ground. And I hope I can bring what I've learned to some of the people who are here for the first time in that way, of just being able to be more freely open to connection and open heart.
Beautiful. Thanks, Linda. Welcome, Peggy.
Hi, I'm Peggy Suarez. Brand new to actually Zen Peacemakers. I was introduced by a friend, a dear friend of mine, who will also be on the retreat with us, Brooke Kusling. And this retreat just spoke to me on such a deep level. I was very moved at what Renee shared with us earlier. And I'm just so open and for the connection and the understanding, and ready for my heart and my spirit to grow. And I'm very excited for July. I can't wait.
Mom?
Thank you. Welcome, Peggy.
Thank you.
Jennifer.
Hello. Hi.
Hey.
Hi, Renee.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Oh, so many friends here.
Yeah.
But I can't see you, but big hugs to you. I'm a midwife. I live in New York, and I've been in the honor of 2 visits to be with you before, but not last year. So I'm just very grateful I get to be with this community again. My heart is very open. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Catherine Gervasi, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Catherine, and I live in Southwest Colorado. I'm amazed at how much of this plunge is working on. And I can't even imagine what it's going to be like to be in the presence of everyone. So I'm very much surprised, actually, at my level of excitement. And that's the only, I keep going, is that the right word, excitement? But I guess it is. I'm just like so, like, I'd come tomorrow if I could. So, thank you all. I will see you soon.
Thank you, Catherine. Paco. Hey.
Yeah, I'm delighted to, and also touched by Renee, but there was a period during this year when I did not sign up for this retreat fast enough, and I was just not able to do it because it was full, and so it was very sad. And then the gods intervened, and a spot opened, and I'm going to be able to hug Renee and Manny, Viola, and all of you. And so I'm also excited and happy that this is going to be part of my life this year, and a year in which I had a birthday, so I turned 80 years young this year. So we're going to celebrate when we get there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paco. I was very glad that you were able to join us. For those of you who may not know Paco, he's also a long time Zen Peacemaker collaborator, teacher, and troublemaker. And he's been in bearing witness retreats with us many, many years, in whether it was Rwanda and in the Black Hills. And he also been with some on a program that myself and Genro and Paco and his wife been with the other indigenous leaders from all over the world a few years ago. So I also feel it's a great privilege to have you, Paco, with us and experience, and just as a resource. So thank you so much, Paco. Kineret, Ando.
Hi, I'm Kineret, or hi, Renee. Hi, oh, or Ando, and wow, it's just so sweet, special to just already be here in this circle right now. And yeah, on Tuesday, was it, when you were in DC, I didn't get to watch it real time, but I watched the video later, you know, and just watched it again and again. And I just really appreciate right now hearing it and the next level of sinking in my bones and blood. And I, you know, just to name, like, for now is doing the work of intergenerational healing has been really in my life this year in a strong way. And so when I heard and hear the sharings from you and from Violet and Manny and others, it moved me so much how, just for me, how much I get to be part of healing my line of my ancestors when I'm in community and ceremony and relationship with you. And so that's my intention. Kind of what keeps calling me here is I love being together, and I love being a human together. So anyways, I look forward so much to being together in person. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Diana Rico, good to see you back here.
Hi. I'm sorry my video camera isn't working, but it's I'm so moved by everything that's going on in this call, to see the familiar faces of our friends from last year. I'm so excited to be with you all and with the new people. Renee, thank you so much for what you shared. It really moved me so deeply. And Violet, thank you for your opening prayer. Your prayers bring me into such a deep place. Thank you. This is my second year of this Bearing Witness Plunge, and when I first heard about it last year, it was unthinkable not to go. I just feel so deeply called to be here. I'm excited that it's been extended to 4 years instead of 3. And Paco, I want the first birthday dance.
You got it. First dance.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Welcome back. Bob, hi.
Glad to be here. Looking forward to this. I'm zipping off to Finland Sunday, but I think the Lakota trips are really important.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Good to see you back. I'm seeing a phone number that starts with a 415. I think it's a San Francisco number. I'm going to unmute that number now. Hello, 415. Hi, if you're calling from the phone and your phone number is 415-941-5161, welcome. If you'd like to introduce yourself. Okay, I can't hear, so I'm just going to keep muted for now. Lillian Ball, welcome. I see you calling from the phone as well.
May you, can you pass me over for a couple of minutes because I'm in a compromising situation now and I really would like to focus.
Okay.
I'm about to get off a train, and so if you can just wait 5 minutes, I would be very grateful.
Sounds good.
Come back to me. Come back to me.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
So, you know, maybe I'll say a few words. I was very moved this last 2 days, just having the conversations with Renee in our group. And just so you know, there's another WhatsApp group for people who are alumni, or people who've been in our retreats before. And we shared a bit about Renee's work there. So I was so moved to see that there and participate in it. And I was really asking myself, you know, there was a part of me that really was really wanted to be there, Renee, with you in DC, you know, with many. And you know, there was a really strong sense of wanting to just be in presence and solidarity. And I was so glad that I could contribute in that way, even though it was just through the phone or just even, I think we talked on the phone a few times. And it really made me question, in a way, everything that I think I know about what is solidarity and what is peacemaking. And this is one of the reasons that I'm so called to do this work. And even the first time I met Tiokasin Ghost Horse from Cheyenne River, it was in Poland, in Auschwitz, and that's, I think it was my first or second time there, and I was in the men's barracks, and I was imagining my great uncle who was there and died there, and having a Lakota man prayer, dedicated prayer to him, really broke my heart. And I felt that there's a sense that I want to be able to offer this to others and to your nation, and to acknowledge that interconnectedness. And I feel tremendously privileged to be also part of the work that I'm doing, and, you know, being able to work on this project and others, because you know, when we're going to be on the road in July, you know, you'll probably hear the encouragement from us as the organizers to be really present and just be really pay attention to hear where we'll be on the land. And that's why I'm going to take the opportunity now, before we're actually there, to just give a bigger context that this, I call it like a portal of connection that we're creating, and in a way we've already created it, we're having it here, is also being done by so many people, other people around the world. In a week, there's going to be another plunge happening in Finland. And they're doing a plunge not different from what we're doing, around concentration camps that happened during the civil war there. They had different reasons to kill one another, to forget how human they are. So that happens in Finland, and that is happening in other places. It happened in Ireland earlier this year. And I'm in conversation with a few individuals to possibly do something either here or even with some overlap in Africa about the history of slavery that really courses all over our continents, whether it's Africa, Europe, and the United States. So for a moment, I'm just allowing just a bigger context, just so you understand how where my appreciation comes for this work, and how by creating these portals into connection, or I would even call it portals, we're just revealing this connection. So this is what motivates me and really inspires me to continue this work year after year. I took a little liberty to speak a little bit more about that, because I'm just recognizing there's a few people here. I think Peggy, maybe another person who's just haven't had a lot of exposure to Zen Peacemakers. So I wanted to give a little bit more of that. Yeah. I want to check in with Lillian. Lillian, is this a good time for you?
Yes, I'm just getting off the train, so I suppose it's reasonably good. This is my first experience with Zen Peacemakers. I practiced with Linda and Engu, Shoju and Engu in at the Ocean Zendo, and when I first heard about the Lakota trip, I was immediately sure I wanted to go. And I feel so blessed that I can participate, and that that I am really excited about it. Very, very, I feel like it's way overdue for me. I very much wanted to go to Standing Rock. I know TX and really appreciate him as well. And I've been trying to prepare in a way that I don't know if it's appropriate, but I've been reading in the spirit of Crazy Horse and hoping that that will help me to understand, to bear witness in a more full way. Though I must say, every time I open the book, my heart does break open. And I'm not sure if I will. I'm only about a quarter of the way through, so I'm not sure that I will be able to finish it. But I will keep trying to get some sort of sense of the pain. And I apologize for the train noise. And I just want to say how grateful I am to be able to participate with this. And I can't wait to meet everyone in person. And I'm very sorry that I was on the train, but I wanted to participate. So I will be listening. Once I get off. And thanks again.
Thank you, Lillian. So maybe I'll just say a word about the intention of this call. This call is really just about this. I mean, it's just about getting us connected a little bit further, even before we meet in person. Part of it is just because we can. We have this amazing technology and we can do this. But there's also just an opportunity to start coming closer. So this is really the only, in terms of purpose and agenda of what my intention was for this. And definitely hear more from Violet and Renee and Eve in terms of the spirit with which you're helping steer the experience and open up to the experience. And also just be open to all of us in terms of what coming up for us in this call, whether it's already reflecting on your anticipation toward the coming together. A wonderful practice we often do with the around the Zen Peacemakers, we call it counsel. We're not going to do this kind of full here, but kind of really rely on silence. Kind of like relying on, faith in spirit and really just letting our voice speak whatever it needs to speak, and we're be speaking from the heart and spontaneously, and just encouraging others as they share. Just really listen, and also because we have it's quite a big group here, and we have about 40 more minutes. Just stay brief if you want to share something or ask a question, just out of consideration to others. So the people who are on video, if you'd like to any point share or ask a question or anything, just raise your hand. The people who are on the phones, I'm going to unmute you, and so you can jump in. But if we hear that there's a lot of noise, I'll have to unmute you. So, Um, so even for now, I'm just taking in all the places that everybody called from and really trying to like imagine where you are and the different intentions that came up, and really inviting everyone to just settle. And
This is the guy who directs the program. And he and Nomi had dinner with us last night. He said he was here to visit with us last night. He's the executive director of the Zen Peacemakers, and he's moving to New York. He's going to be living in Brooklyn.
I don't think that's for us. Okay. Yes, Eve, please.
Hi, Rami. I'm going to have to get off at 2:00, but so maybe I'll just say this, and maybe Renee and Violet could jump in, and others as well. You mentioned something about people steering the retreat or whatever. I think the hallmark of the retreat is that Renee and Manny, Violet host us in sacred places. And I think it's the sacred places that actually is what steers us. I don't get that. I certainly don't steer anybody. But it's the places they take us that really, I don't know, we form a very deep connection with them. And it really works on us in a very, very special way. Those places, along with the ceremonies we do, and the bearing witness, and the listening and the sharing and going deep into those things, I think that's what steers us. Yeah, I really feel that that's really what steers us. I don't even know what else I do personally, but you know, I'd love to hear from again Renee and Violet about how they would like, you know, bringing us to these places and how they see it connecting with the retreat, because that's a very important aspect for me.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Violet, we can hear you, and also Renee. Violet, I wonder if you'd like to, if anything comes up for you in response to what Eve brought up.
This is Violet. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Eve mentioned that, you know, these sacred places and how we are connected to these places. The place we're going to meet, and I'm sure Manny has some stories with that too. But I have, you know, our origin story connects us, you know, this Gaga to the first fun dance that was ever held. What amazes me about finding these things for myself as a person from the culture, from the Lakota people. The stories my grandmother told are just now making sense. I posted a story about the buffalo that stands in the north on YouTube years ago. And I talk about that, not realizing until this, you know, this past spring, that the connection with that buffalo is the area where we're going to be. There's a book by Ron Goodman. He has about Lakota Star Lore. And he has a story in there, except my story, my grandma's story, oral tradition, kind of doesn't match with it, but it's okay. And the reason why it's okay, the Lakota of our ancestors, Titwa, there were many, perhaps millions. in the past. And the stories will differ in that way. What's the same is the area. So however that goes, stories are valid. The giant buffalo that I put on YouTube actually is the one of the places that we're going to be. And the first Sundance held is the one right in Sundance, Wyoming. And Iakaha is where, our ancestors went to collect. But that's, what I'm going to share when we get together. I don't know how much I'm thinking of writing it out and then reading it, because I could do it oral, in Lakota, but it will connect us to a distant past of our ancestors. What I've seen on the internet when I looked up Niagaha and some of the other places, I kind of didn't like it, because I think our ancestors were in the 1800s struggling to keep our Black Hills. And of course, the government wanted to take it. So they devalue our stories, but we can get beyond that. I can go beyond that and just tell the stories as my grandmother told, So that's one of the ways that, to answer Eve's question about two of those places, and I'm sure Manny has his stories too. And he, I know he asked if before if there was a place where where he would have be able to show us something on the laptop. So I hope that can happen too. So, but anyway, I'm not speaking for Manny. I'm just, kind of trying to connect those things so that, that he has stories, I have stories. We belong to different bands at the time, our ancestors, and so those are the things that, that will truly light our, our way, help us to understand things, even like me, as I go, different things are starting to make sense to me, even the night skies, things that are different. So that's all I want to say. I just want to share that much. Thank you.
Thank you, Violet.
Mm-hmm.
Deborah.
I just had a little question for Renee. Is Claudia joining us this year?
Yes.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay! I can't wait to see you.
Renee, can you say maybe who Claudia is and who else is coming?
Okay, Claudia is our 19-year-old daughter who just finished her freshman year at Morris, Minnesota, University of Minnesota, in Morris, and she's really a strong advocate for our Lakota language. She's learning. She's always talking to her dad in Lakota from phrases she learns. So I'm really happy to see that, and I jump in there and speak with her and him when I can, when I'm able to understand. She's really awesome. She kind of like is our IT person in our family. Her and Michonne both, our other older daughter. And Manny and I know about cell phones and laptops and desktops, and we know the basics with computers, or electronics, but they're the ones that are the whizzes for us. And she just really little intelligent, or I shouldn't say little. She's a young, intelligent young woman. So She's really amazed by the Zen Peacemakers, and she always looks forward to meeting with everyone too. So, but that's who Claudia is. Her Lakota name is Taupi Washtewi, which means good wound woman, and she received that name from her aunt, who was named that by her father, who was in World War II. And with that, I'll turn it over to Manny Ironhawk. He's right here. He just walked in. Here's everyone. Introducing Manny.
Hey, Manny, good to see you.
Hey, Rami, good to see you.
Yeah. Please say hi to everyone. There's almost a dozen people here, if you can see everyone.
Oh, yes. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Manny, Paco here. I'm sending you a big hug.
Hey, Paco. Hey.
Yeah. So, Manny, welcome. We were just talking a little bit about our time together in July. We heard from Violet. We started with Renee told us a little bit about the time in BC, and Violet started with a prayer, and then we just went around and just, you know, said our name, where we're from. We spoke a little bit what to expect in July. It will be great if you just want to say a few words.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the upcoming meeting, and as Renee told you, we made a spiritual journey to Washington, D.C., and I can tell you about that later on when you're here. And it's just I'd never been to Washington, D.C., so it was a quite an experience for me, and much less going to the Hill. They call it the Hill. And so we went there, and we met the people that were supporting us, and we did our talk, and we did our a little gift giving, and so it went all very well, and but that's just the first step. So hopefully, you know, I am confident that it'll pick up, and it will be passed sometime later on. So, but I am, like I said, I am excited to see all the family again, and we just finished school yesterday, so we're having doing some paperwork now, and ordering for the fall, and that kind of business we've been doing. So other than that, we've been keeping busy and saying prayers and saying prayers for the Zen too, to make the journey here and make the journey home. And so I think that's where we're at today. So
Thank you, Manny.
yeah.
Yeah. I also want to acknowledge that Michelle couldn't be on the call today. Ingu, his mother-in-law passed away last month. So,
oh no!
According to the Jewish tradition, after 30 days, there's a certain ceremony, so he couldn't join us. And Genro is already in South Dakota, but he's somewhere on Pine Ridge, I think, and he didn't have reception. He couldn't join, but he's sending his blessings. And he's actually going to join Violet and Renee and Manny, right? Soon you're going to have a week with another group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just curious if you'd like to say a few words about that, because I think it's very interesting, all the work that you're doing, and going to really give us a sense of all the things that you're participating in. You know, you're doing many, many things. You're having a school, you're having to work with the Australians. So if you feel you'd like to share that, that would be wonderful. I'm also...
Sure. I'll go first. I believe 9 Australian elders are making the trip. And so the plan is to meet with them and exchange what we have in common. I believe we have more in common than what we don't have in common. So I'm a little excited about that too, because of the star knowledge of ours and theirs. Just briefly, we talked about that, and it's pretty interesting how they see their stars relatives to with the Australian elders. So I'm very excited to meet with them, and we're planning a welcome ceremony to the Lakota land, and especially our Black Hills area, which is still in litigation, and we will update them on all that part with the land and of course where we been put on reservations, and and I'm glad General's gonna be there and be there and help too. So, but this is the first of its kind, as far as I know. We met with the Maoris before, several years ago, but that was done by another group, the Sitting Bull College, and that was pretty amazing and interesting too. But that had to do with language part, learning language and revitalizing the language. So we did that, and so this is going to be the first with the Australian, and I am looking forward to sharing, and we're also gonna meet with them at the Bear Butte Lodge too, and share our stories together, and of our origins on this what we call Turtle Island, or Mother Earth here, and Turtle Island, and seems like the turtle takes place of everything, and we have the turtle calendar, you know, the 13-month calendar, and so the turtle plays a part on a very big part on our culture, and as far as living long life and following your values, virtues, and living a good life with your relatives. And here at the school, we talked about briefly about being a good relative. And sometimes that's really hard to do, but that's one of our values, to be a good relative. So that's what very important for us to share. So, go ahead. Oh, shit.
If Violet like to share? Violet still there?
Yeah. I'm here. I did already.
Oh.
What did you want us to share about Rami?
I was just wondering if you wanted to say anything about next week and the meeting with
yeah.
the elders.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
we expect them to fly in tomorrow from San Francisco. They're already in San Francisco today. And then they'll fly to Rapid City tomorrow and spend the night there. And Sunday they'll be in Rapid City with us, or spend the night in Rapid City Saturday night, and then Sunday we'll go to Bear Butte and be there till Wednesday. Then we'll go over to Peshla, and then from Peshla we'll be there till Friday, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and then Friday we'll go down to All Nations Healing Center in Kyle, South Dakota, and we'll spend the night there. And is that Marushka?
No, I don't think Marushka could join us.
Okay, that looked like Marushka. Sorry about that. And then on Friday, we'll spend the night at All Nations Healing Center. And then that morning, we'll get up and they'll go on to Rosebud to meet with Juanita and Ben Rod. And then Manny and I have to come home that Saturday because Sunday we have to go to Lakota language training up in Grand Forks, North Dakota. So for the school, for the immersion school. So that's what our itinerary looks like with the Australians. I think Violet, I'm not sure if Violet will, travel with them to Rosebud to spend time with the Rods. But that's what our plans are for. And we might participate in Inipi on Tuesday night at Bear Butte. That's something that's planned, and we'll see how that goes. We hope to show them that ceremony because it's a purification, cleansing ceremony that's really powerful and done with prayers. And so that's one thing we hope to share with them. And plus, as far as spending time at Peshla. But that's gonna be our plans for that trip. For starting Saturday till next Friday, or next Saturday.
Thank you, Renee. Thanks for just giving us a bit more about that. And I pray it's going to be a useful week and a week of connection. Looking forward to hear more about it. We have about 15 minutes. I'm curious just to open it up if anybody else has no question or just something to bring up. Catherine, yeah.
Yeah, I saw in the program that we go to the reservation for direct actions, and I know that in the past you have done that. Could you give any context of what that means, direct actions?
Mm-hmm. Sure. I'm curious, Renee or Manny, do you want to say a few words about that? I can, but I'm curious if you'd like to do that. What we were planning to do once we get to Cheyenne.
We are in the process of getting a double wide trailer that the Lowy School will be able to use. So if we get that in place by the time, that third week in July when the third week in July when the Zen Peacemakers come, that Thursday when we come to Eagle Butte, we plan to be able to just do some little technical semi-construction stuff, like setting up the rooms, you know, within the modular or the mobile home. And then for those that, like, if there's enough or Zen Peacemakers to volunteer, some can go to the Julie Garrow's program. It's the Chokata Wichoni Teen Center, which means living in the center, teen center. They will go there and help them with the garden. They have a garden, and they always need volunteers to assist with their garden, and they'll have other volunteers there too also, but I think Rami was coordinating that with them. So that's what the plan is as far as the direct action or service. We hope to be able to have the modular available to do things like just cleaning it up and getting it ready for the school year that'll start end of August.
Thank you, Renee. Yeah, so just to say that this was a very important piece for us to bring into the plunge, to bring a bit more of a direct involvement and also just meet more of the community. So the immersion school that Manny and Renee created is a big deal. It's a big deal on the reservation. It's the first place where both kids and adults can actually go and study Lakotas, because some of them actually were born away of Lakota. And we've just done a really wonderful interview. I spoke with Renee and Manny about it, and you can read it on our blog. But it's just such an amazing gift that the two of them were able to put that together. So we'll be helping a bit with what we can do on the premises of the school. And the youth center is very excited to have us also. So there will be some teens there. And the other thing that we spoke about is that the following day, Renee and Manny offered an invitation to do like a Lakota immersion school for us. And so they will do like a morning of teaching, and they will also invite people from the community. So it's not just us, they'll bring people. It will be like an open community morning for everyone. So this is in the works. And as you know, things are subject to change, but this is the plan as we try to not steer towards, as Eve said. Yeah, I saw Deborah. And did I see Paco's hand, or did you give me a thumbs up? Okay.
Renee, I was wondering if there's a wish list of items that the school might need that would be possible for us to bring to support the school.
Like possibly crayons, crayons or finger paints, or do you have any canvas? Because we're gonna teach them how to make drums, little tiny drums, and we're gonna teach them. And then if you have any naga hide or little strips of leather, and teach them how to do make drumsticks, you know, craft stuff like that. And
yeah, just the basic stuff like maybe just like arts and crafts stuff would work.
Leather strips.
Yeah, we already have scissors and that kind of stuff, but like maybe even some little bit of some paper for them to draw on.
Drawing paper.
Drawing paper.
Oh, and then those kind of papers that have like the lines and the dots on them. They're learning how to make letters. The kindergarten and first grade. Oh, the line, the alphabet letters or sheets. Things. This is cool. Got scissors.
I see you, Paco.
Yeah, I would like to see a list from Renee and Manny. Send us a list and quantities. And if Deborah will allow me to, I will join Deborah in figuring out what's the best way to do this. It could be that the best way might be that we will order this online, and you will tell us an address, and it will be delivered to you. So that might be the easiest way. But if we had a list, we could do this.
What a great idea.
Do you agree with Deborah?
Perfect.
Okay.
That's what I had in mind. I was going to propose that afterwards.
Good.
Great.
Someone's efficient.
Yeah. Thank you, Deborah, for bringing that up and giving us opportunity to give.
Oh yeah, yarn. I just thought of it.
Yarn. Yay.
Yeah, you need yarn.
Acrylic or wool? You want wool is tough, right? So
I know. Probably acrylic.
Acrylic,
Well, we'll make that list, and then should we send it to the WhatsApp?
Just send it to me. I'll take care of it.
Okay, we'll email it to you.
Remy, I got a question. But this fall, our school is we're building a school calendar, and we're like moving towards our turtle calendar, and so one of the things that I wanted to do was have some meditation time with the students, and I'm not very versed in that meditation part yet, but I think it's doable. So if you even like, I don't know, I'm thinking like maybe like even like a minute or two with these little people, and but we that's what I'm thinking. We want to do some meditation exercises at least.
Yeah, because we've seen where if like very young children, if they can learn those types of exercises, self-meditation, relaxation, it really helps them. Like with some of them have hyperactivity, so we've seen like studies where they said if they do that with young children, it helps them to like be a little more centered, a little more able to focus on instruction or whatever they're going to do for the morning. So we're looking to incorporate that into our school system because we think it'll really help some of our young ones.
Beautiful. Thank you, Renee. I see you, Paco. I think that's a great idea, and obviously, I'd love to bring it up to Eve and Genro, and maybe we can even do it during our week together, and even just start that. I know there was some requests from our people, so Paco, go ahead. We can hear you. Hold on.
I just wanted to say that that's part of the work that I do in charter schools. I work with kindergarten through fifth and sixth grade through high school with children and teachers, because teachers are also have to learn how to do this.
Mhm.
And so I've had some experience doing that recently. And I would love to be able to get someone to help me do that if you're okay with it, Rami, and the rest of the other council. And I would like somebody to help me. I know someone who's great with children and with just humans. Enkyo is a great teacher and a wonderful sister, and maybe she could do that, or Deborah. Anyone who would be able to. I'm volunteering for that, and I'm trying to recruit.
Thank you, Paco.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paco. Yeah. I may just say a few words about that. Renee and Manny and Violet have been really, really generous and inquisitive and curious about what this whole Zen Peacemakers people thing is. And they call us the Zens, which is kind of cute. I like that. So I would just say that I really just appreciate your openness to just kind of what is this thing that we're doing called meditation. A general value that we have is that we're definitely not trying to put things on other people or try to we don't have our own way in terms of what's the right way. So and I'm also saying this to the rest of our participants. Some of us come with different practices, and maybe we have our own ways, and we feel it's really important to us to share those ways with others. And I'll just request from our side, particularly from the Zen Peacemaker side, to just be very considerate around that, and not assume that your path and what you think is really working for you may work for others, particularly in this context. And particularly because Violet and Manny and Renee have been so open, so interested on their own. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, very appreciative of that because these are very lower grades too. So I appreciate Paco. He has experience, and other people have experience in this area. So I think we'll figure out an approach and how to incorporate this into our school plan and lesson plans too. So.
Right. So I see we only have a couple of more minutes, and knowing we're going to come together in a few weeks, so I wonder if Violet or Renee or Manny, do you have any just encouragement for us, in the next few weeks as we prepare to come together around intention, or how we would like to turn our attention and prayers to?
What is it?
Did somebody say something?
I think it was somebody from Violet's phone. So I was just asking the three of you if there's any encouragement for us as the people who are going to come to your land and wanting to cultivate as much respect and attention. Is there any request that you would like of us as we set our minds to do that? And to see you soon.
You mean any words of encouragement to give to the participants.
Hmm.
I would just say that we are keeping everyone in prayer as they travel to come. We look forward to meeting everyone. It'll be good to see the ones from last year. And I don't really have anything special to say in regards to like when you come to Shan River for the community service or the direct action work. Uh, it's just a different, slower pace of life if you're used to living in the city. Because we went to Washington, D.C., and it's pretty fast, or, you know, the traffic's fast, getting into the airport, everything is pretty much done fast until you have to wait in line. But here, that's a much slower pace. Here, there's like broader spaces. And, you know, like at first, when we're on the interstates and stuff, like at Iakara and Rapid City, or, you know, by Bear Butte, when we get to Bear Butte, it'll be a real slower pace. It's out toward the country. It's at the foot of one of our really sacred hills. Um, and it's just a real slower pace than what city living is like. A lot of less noise. And so I know that friends that I've had that come from like Maryland or different areas, that's one of the shocks that they experience. They're used to seeing lights all along the highway or the, you know, the interstate, or, you know, but we just have highways and they don't have street lights. So that's something I guess I would say a person could prepare themselves for, is that it's a different landscape. But we're used to it and we kind of enjoy the slower pace and the silence too. So, but it's a good experience to, I know, like if you're used to meditation, you'll be used to this slower way of pace, the slower pace that we have. Is what I'm trying to say. So, but I look forward to seeing everybody. Travel well, travel safe. Dayan Omanikte.
Rami, as far as encouragement goes, I think the Zens give us a lot of encouragement, you know, through the things that we see and the things that of how they are how they are like your organization, and I tell you one thing, you guys are very good listeners. You know, sometimes I have to work at that, you know. But so the encouragement, I think, goes both ways, and I believe it's one of the virtues that we carry and we share, and I look at it as being a good relative, as mentioned before, and so like Renee mentioned, went to Washington D.C. and it was pretty much fast paced over there. A lot of people, a lot of traffic. Seen some landmarks, but so that's the difference from where we from here to there was a little different where we're at. So I think I think it's through prayer and meditation that you get through the days. So.
Thank you, Manny. I'm curious, Violet, would you like to say any parting words before we close?
I think Renee always has a way of, putting words where, it's hard to say anything more because she's said, so much of how I feel in my heart. In her saying, what she just got done saying and what Manny said. But in terms of, getting here and traveling here and, being with us, I look forward to that. Time. To me, it's almost like a time at a Sundance. It's very spiritual and very connected, and it's like meeting with old relatives. For me, it's like maybe our souls have traveled together in a different time, different dimension, or something like that. So I look forward to meeting each and every one of you and being able to share whatever it is that we share in the time that we're together. Or that you do. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Violet. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being on the call and you're listening and you're sharing. Yeah. May our efforts to connect and acknowledge our part in the Great Spirit bring benefit to everyone, to ourselves. And I look forward to seeing everyone in a few weeks. And thank you, Renee and Manny and Violet, for your generosity and welcoming. It's a great, great, great privilege. And I hope and I invite everybody else to aspire to give that in return. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm going to unmute everyone so we can just say goodbye.
Great.
Goodbye.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, good.
Thank you.
The students,
Thank you.
the students were just thrilled. It just worked this year with it, and I was so glad. I mean, even staying at Lucado and everything worked, and it was really loved having this combined of some time, though they never feel that we give enough to you. But it felt like this is the year the program came together in a certain way. So, so a very strange thing happened with Raphael Manners. So I wanted to talk to you because the students didn't tell us until they came back. So then it was like, oh, did you tell Freeman? But I think they wouldn't have been.
Jennifer, is this conversation for us? Yeah, I don't. Okay, thank you, everyone. Take good care. We never know what passes through. Huh?
Never a Zoom call.
It all just passes through. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye. See you soon.
Bye.
See you soon. Yeah.